Hello and welcome to today's NetBeez live demo. Today we're talking about the NetBeez release 3.0, which was published last week, November 1st. So first of all, if you want to learn more about release 3.0, we're having a webinar on November the 19th. So make sure that you register there if you're interested in learning more about this new version. But let's check about the release notes for version 3.0, what you will get with this update, and what you're missing if you're not, if you don't have a NetBeez dashboard. So the most important feature is the Wi-Fi connection timing. This is a feature that allows you to gather information about how long it takes for the average Wi-Fi client to connect to it. So the bees can be configured to reconnect every so often to an SSID, and by doing so it will give you a breakdown on the Wi-Fi association, authentication, and DHCP time. Another great feature is the LDAP authentication for dashboard users. This enables the NetBeez dashboard users to use their own Active Directory or radius information, so you don't have to have a local account on the NetBeez dashboard with its own password and so on. So this is a great feature also for the administrators of NetBeez that they don't want to create or keep track of new or old users, because everything is managed through the backend via the LDAP protocol. So LDAP coming out with the NetBeez 3.0. I've also listed here some minor improvements, but yet important. The first one, the most important, is the negative testing. With this, you can, for example, receive an alert not when, say, a ping fails, but when a ping is successful. So the use case for this specific feature is relevant to, say, security. For instance, if you deploy an agent on a PCI network and you want to make sure that this network is isolated and cannot reach outside the networks or the internet, with NetBeez you can enforce this setting by creating a negative test. So again, the negative test will be successful when the ping test fails, and unsuccessful when the ping test, for example, succeeds. Another new improvement is on IPerf. Traditionally, IPerf would be used to test with the TCP option how much throughput the agents can send on the network. But now you can also rate limit the throughput to, say, 10 or 20 meg by having the option to exactly set the throughput maximum amount. This was a feature was available in UDP and not in TCP, but with the NetBeez version 3.0 you have also the option to set it for the TCP throughput. Another improvement is on the DNS tests. Traditional DNS are run over UDP, but the protocol also supports the TCP connection option. So with NetBeez release 3.0, we're also adding the TCP option, which is non-default because the default is still UDP, but you can enable and test DNS queries with the TCP protocol. For the rest, you see that we have updated some layout. On the bus tab, we added the Wi-Fi incidents and also the front end. We start reworking the front end with React.js. So you'll see, for example, the first pages that have an updated look and feel is the settings pages. Those are all native with the React.js, and you see in future releases always more React being implemented in other section of the dashboard. So something really fairly transparent to the user, but you see some UI elements have a nicer, more modern look thanks to the React.js implementation. And last, a little teaser before I close this live video is the widget of the Wi-Fi connection timing that shows you how you can break down the time to connect to a Wi-Fi network into association, authentication, and DHCP. When we implemented this feature, I was personally surprised to see how long it takes for DHCP to release an IP address, and this is something that without this feature I would have never realized. I wonder what's the story behind your network when you enable this feature. But we'll talk more about this Wi-Fi connection timing in the webinar that we're hosting on November the 19th. So make sure to go to our website netbeez.net and or check out the register to that webinar. With that, I want to thank you and have a great day.